Thank you, Bush High School. Next, we would like to recognize high schools representing Fort Bend ISD. Each school here
Check.
will be presenting will ultimately have someone from their athletic program as well as fine arts. So
3 minutes away.
Off here first with the Bulldogs of Austin High School. Austin is represented by members of their soccer.
Checking 1-2. Checking 1-2.
Fine arts is male sports medicine, you name it. Austin has it here tonight. Their co-coordinators are Coach Hartman as well as Coach Hartman. Once again, please give it up to Austin High School. We have the Rangers here representing Clemens High School.
Hi, everybody.
Clemens, come on through.
Hope you're having a nice, hot Tuesday. No, wait a minute. It's Wednesday evening, and we're at Mercer Stadium. We being VypeFortBend.com. I'm Roger Smith along with Patrick Kinnick. We are together again, you and me and the laptop.
That's a hallelujah. Don't you think it's a hallelujah?
It's a hallelujah.
It's fall, and it's ready for some football and volleyball and whatever else we can do out there.
Well, I know I'm ready for football.
I know you are.
And I feel bad for those boys who have been having to get ready for football because it has been brutally hot, and it is right now. But we're going to tough it out because this is a great event. It is called the Texas Way Day. And what it is a community pep rally to make everybody aware of something that is much needed in high school sports in the name of sportsmanship and respect for officials and your opponents. And the UIL has really been proactive. Are there some things, Patrick, that you've seen in competitive situations where you really wish you hadn't seen them?
Well, of course. We've seen over the years unsportsmanlike conduct type penalties after the whistle activity and so on and so forth. And we want to try to squelch that as best we can. As we speak right now, representatives from each school in the district are being introduced here, and they run out to the midfield area among some cheerleaders from the various schools as well. This is really kind of a neat thing. It's, like you said, a district-wide pep rally, and they're trying to address some of those issues that you had mentioned, Roger, that we don't want to see on the field or on the courts anymore if possible.
And another neat thing about Fort Bend ISD is you have lots of schools. You have lots of different traditions, and you have lots of different rivalries within the district and against schools that they face from outside of Fort Bend ISD. And we're going to add one to the mix as the Crawford Chargers are now part of Fort Bend ISD, and they'll be playing a varsity schedule at basically the 4A level, and they will not have seniors on their team. So did you ever have to play in that situation?
I never had to play in that situation, and I know it's a challenge, but a challenge can also be fun too. It doesn't have to be a negative. So we'll see how they fare this year in the district. Hightower representatives are at midfield, and we got about 3 or 4 more schools to be introduced here.
And I noticed they're not going in alphabetical order because they started, I think, with Elkins, and then Hightower came right after Elkins. But maybe it's a new alphabet that you and I, as educators, are unaware of.
Well, here come the Kempner people.
All right, Patrick. It's amazing. I mentioned the fact that we've got the 12 high schools and quite a few middle schools that feed those high schools, and the district's athletic administration is not a really big staff. They have a lot to do. You've got Dina Scott, the athletic director, and the ones in charge of the high schools are Shannon Rideout, Deborah Mize, and Amy Williams, who is basically in charge of the athletic trainers So that's a whole lot of jobs to be done by a very small staff, and
Right.
they do a great job.
And I know I said district, but we're more than just the district here as Marshall comes in. So it's more of a Fort Bend rally. Would you say not just a district rally, but a Fort Bend rally?
Absolutely, and the district is competitive when they get on the field against each other, but it's also fraternal. And what's the female way of saying fraternal? You'd say sororital.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
they're brothers and sisters, but when they knock heads and they compete against each other, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Well, and as you know, especially these days, a lot of these athletes know each other from the AAUs and the extra teams that they're on over the years. So I see a lot of times where guys and the gals, they talk to each other after the game, give each other a hug because they know each other and maybe even played on some teams together.
All right, Patrick, we're going to talk
Here
with
comes Travis.
Travis, that's the perfect time to cut you off.
Yeah.
You being a Travis dad and all. So we are going to step aside, and we'll be back with Shannon Rideout, one of the assistant ADs for Fort Bend ISD. And he's going to tell you about the Texas Way, why it is needed, what it entails, and we're going to learn more and more about the Texas Way as we celebrate the Texas Way Day in the evening here at Mercer Stadium on Wednesday, August the 21st.
And thank goodness it is the evening.
And thank goodness
It's not noon.
Your Travis Tigers athletes have left the field.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. I love Travis almost as much as he does. We'll step aside and be back on VypeFortBend.com. Lots of activities. You will want to stick around. We are VypeFortBend.com, your broadcast home for Fort Bend County High School sports.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi, my daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through September 21st, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 2 years when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data. And get Peacock Premium, a $7.99 a month value included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Gig Wi-Fi requires Xfinity Gateway. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
Good evening again. Welcome to Mercer Stadium. It's a great gathering of people who are involved in athletics in Fort Bend Independent School District because the UIL is introducing something they call the Texas Way. It's a big program that involves all coaches and athletes in all sports across the state. And it's time to speak with Shannon Rideout. He's one of the assistant athletic directors for Fort Bend ISD. And this may take you a long time to answer. What exactly is the Texas Way?
Yes, sir. So, Roger, ultimately, the Texas Way, it's an initiative that was formed by a few associations, Texas High School Coaches Association, Texas High School Athletic Directors Association, along with 2 words. And this collaboration enabled us to be able to come together to focus on the importance of good sportsmanship. And in essence, this is built on some pillars. And those 3 pillars involve respect for others, control of self, and the spirit of competition. And so we believe by us being able to usher in this initiative here at Fort Bend that we can really foster some positive environments when families and fans get a chance to come out to our sporting events.
Well, I see what you do, and I see what your coworkers do, and I know how much you love high school sports, and it is so beneficial to so many people, especially the kids who turn into more productive adults because of the work habits that they learn and how to deal with difficulty and work hard for something. And I think maybe you understand just how much I love it. I just think it is one of the best things in this world, what I see going on in competition in high schools and the things the kids learn and the relationships they build. But I also know that this came about. The Texas Way is kind of a response to some things, some numbers, some measurable things that were kind of on the up, and that's why we need to do something about it. So what are some of those things?
Couldn't agree with you more. So you're 100% correct. Yes, we've witnessed, and data proves it, that we have way too many ejections, whether it's student athletes and or coaches. And so some things that the Texas Way folks will focus on is improve the level of sportsmanship, but also decreasing the number of ejections, and then strengthening our relationship with our communities through coaching, through the athletics that we have in place, and then also our relationship with officials and fans. The way we're able to do that, again, is Texas Way already has, I guess for lack of better words, modules, if you will, that we're able to register for on our campuses. They in turn share that with the student athletes to drive those messages home, to talk about the importance of practicing good sportsmanship and how that can really foster some positive environments. Not only that, but we're hopeful and we believe that when students model excellence in terms of how they conduct themselves, even in adverse situations, that will, in essence, plant the seed for fans and anyone who has any involvement in that game to take root of that message and see it through and be a part of that process of us fostering that positive environment through the Texas Way.
We're talking with Shannon Rideout, Assistant AD with Fort Bend Independent School District, and the home side of Mercer Stadium is filling up. We'll be back and talk with him a little bit more about how an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, part of the Texas Way, a new way of life in interscholastic sports in Texas high schools. We'll be right back.
First Iron Auto welcomes you back to school. Kids got their new shoes and backpacks. Make sure your auto is geared up for those trips in the carpool lane and games. First Iron Automotive prioritizes their customers and employees above all else. Their core values: family, integrity, reliability, service, and trust. Wherever your journey leads, reliable auto care is essential. Great savings on oil changes and brake service too. Check out the website firstironauto.com for details and to book your appointment today. First Iron Automotive, supporting school and youth sports programs for over 26 years. Get to one of First Iron Automotive's 4 convenient locations in Sugar Land and Cinco Ranch. firstironauto.com.
All right, back again at Mercer Stadium, and we're talking about the Texas Way and what the UIL wants every district across the state to implement. And there are going to be some corrective elements to it, I'm sure, but how is it that they're trying to put some things in place that will cut down on the ejections and some other things that manifest themselves when people kind of don't manage their emotions as well as they should and don't always show the best sportsmanship?
Yes, sir. So, again, the biggest message that we can drive home, Roger, I believe, is modeling. It starts with our coaches, and it starts with our student athletes. And it's more so being about it rather than talking about it. Walking the walk rather than just talking the talk. And anyone can say that they can follow things and do things the right way, but the Texas Way is ultimately exhibiting good character even when no one's watching. And that's one of the things that we really want to drive home. That respect for others, that's a big piece to the puzzle. Control of self. Many times we get in heated circumstances and situations in a game type situation. And if we're able to control our emotions, because those are the things we can't control. We cannot control ultimately a call that's been made or what have you, or in terms of what may have transpired during the course of the game, but how we respond to that, we do have control of that. And I believe if we continue to drive that message home, that we will be able to obviously build on that Texas Way model and really have some positive environments here in Fort Bend ISD when it comes to competition.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that when you have a large district with so many schools, there are now going to be 12 schools, with Crawford playing a varsity schedule this year with juniors as their oldest class, right? That's got to be tougher to implement, but speak to how the coaches across the district have been, how they've been in the orientations and learning about what's expected now.
Great question, Roger. So, one thing that we've actually done collectively at the start of the school year when we had our all coaches meeting, we brought all of the campus athletic coordinators together from high school as well as middle school, because we also want to bridge that gap between the middle schools and the high schools. We believe ultimately if the middle schools are able to take root of this message, that a byproduct of that is when they grow into being high school student athletes, that foundation is already in place. And so through that collaboration with those two groups of coordinators, they were able to talk about a couple of things, because here's one thing that's a big piece to that is strengthening our relationship with communities. So they talked about how they can establish, for lack of better words, community service projects together that they can work on. That's the middle schools that are feeding into those high schools. They're also working on a public service announcement together that we will be able to play during our high school football games to continue to drive that message home with our fans about the importance of doing things the Texas way. And then not only that, we also talked about how can we collectively as a group promote that message at our middle schools. And so our high schools are looking at how they can collaborate with the middle schools and really drive that message home. So it's a three-prong, I guess, if you will, model that we're working on: the community service piece, the collaboration piece with the middle school and the high schools, and then also just promoting that message as often as we can when we have those public settings.
Well, back in July at the San Antonio convention of the Texas High School Coaches Association, it seems like that was kind of the big rollout of this plan. And Raymond Zepeda, whom I'm very glad is a former Greater Houston guy, and now he's leading the UIL. I want to ask you, in your perception, who really gets the credit for kind of coming up with this idea? Was it Mr. Zepeda or his staff collectively? How did it germinate as far as you know?
I think organically, I think it came to be with some key players having some key discussions, whether it's key players from the Texas High School Coaches Association, members of the UIL, i.e. Athletic Director Zepeda, his team of assistant athletic directors, Texas High School Texas High School Athletic Directors Association, Stephen Mackey and his team with 2 words. And ultimately, they were able to bring this together. And I believe because of that, you have some folks that realize that there's clearly an issue that we need to address. And we need to get in front of that. And rather than being reactive, let's be proactive. Let's be the state, because I'm sure this is an issue nationwide, the sportsmanship issues that we've seen in the past. And let's just be that example for other states to follow, to say, hey, look, they're doing something different, because we see the data matters. The numbers will decrease. We believe that, because coaches are competitive, and we know that coaches want to be recognized for excellence. And the way they're able to do that is continue to drive that message home with their campuses.
I'm always amazed by how fraternal and competitive coaches are at the same time. I mean, they're kind of like two lawyers can be in a courtroom, and it looks like they're about to start throwing punches. And then the judge says, court adjourned, we'll reconvene after lunch. And then they step out in the lobby and say, okay, where do you want to go to eat? So that's where the way it is with coaches. You know, you can see them so friendly and even affectionate. And then on the other hand, you know, once that game starts, they're very competitive. Can you stick around with one more segment for us?
Absolutely, Roger. Be happy to.
All right, Shannon Rideout. I would say he's our guest, but we're his guest. We're in Mercer Stadium. All right, we'll be back on VypeFortBend.com as the Texas Way Day continues. Night is falling. We'll be right back.
We're the volleyball school with 3 locations, Katy, the Woodlands, and the newest in Richmond on West Belfort. We have the best developmental volleyball program in Fort Bend. We have the high-level training you need to help you get on the top club and school teams and have fun while doing it. The Richmond facility is at 18120 West Belfort. Visit thevolleyballschool.com and come train with us.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi, my daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through September 21st, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 2 years when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data. And get Peacock Premium, a $7.99 a month value included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Gig Wi-Fi requires Xfinity Gateway. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
Back with Shannon Rideout, and I wanted to, if you'll indulge me, I wanted to tell you a very old story. And you talked earlier in this conversation about people doing the right thing even when no one's looking. When I was growing up, all I wanted to be was a Conroe Tiger. As it turned out, I found out in 7th grade that I wouldn't be a Conroe Tiger and I would be a Highlander. But there was a coach for Conroe, W.T. Stapler. In 1971, back in those days, if you won district, you went to the playoffs, and if you didn't win district, you went deer hunting. That was it. So Texas, or Conroe, finished 9-1 in 1971, and they weren't going to the playoffs. They lost one game by a late field goal. It was brutal. So the next year, they were really determined to win that district title and get to the playoffs, and they did. But in week 9, Coach Stapler found an innocent mistake. It was a clerical error. Back in those days, before there was an internet, it was all written stuff, and he figured out that one of his players, who was not a real impactful player, but he had played enough quarters, he was 5 hours too old. He had been born, before the deadline for playing, so he turned 19 too early, and he called a penalty on himself. I was really proud of the Conroe community and my parents and every adult that I knew. I was just a little kid at the time. And no one said, "Stapler, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Why couldn't you just keep it secret?" They were proud of him for doing the honorable thing. And how big of a job is it going to be to, in this day and age where, some much more famous people that we know are not always doing the honorable thing, to get people to do that?
That's a very good point. And actually, that's one of the pillars that the Texas Way touches on. And I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on the fact that Mammoth is a corporation that really backed this initiative. And we're grateful as a state that they're getting behind this initiative. And one of the things that is discussed is the spirit of competition. And I hope you don't mind, but I would like to read something verbatim from the spirit of competition when it talks about the Texas Way. It says, "Spirit of competition is a commitment to give everything we have to be the absolute best we can be, and to put our team in the best position to win. But we will not sacrifice our integrity to do it. Competition the Texas Way is about more than a scoreboard." That's written directly from their pillar. And that goes back to essentially what you're saying is it's all well and good for us to compete, but we have to compete within the rules. We understand the importance of not violating policies or procedures just for the sake of playing a game, because that in many parts that will and does teach life lessons. And what you'll see is that will have a lasting effect well beyond the game, where these student athletes are able to adhere to doing the right thing when it's the right thing to do. And I believe these are some pillars that we can really stress. And we do stress that here in the district. And I believe that we will be better for it.
And I know there are some influences that we kind of work against. You know, professional athletes are kind of demonstrative in ways they didn't used to be, you know, bat flips and things like that. And I really do. I know it makes me sound like an old man, but I miss the days when Earl Campbell, for example, scored a touchdown and he simply flipped the ball to the official. Barry Sanders did the same thing, didn't draw attention to himself. Bob Lilly sacks Bob Greasy in Super Bowl VI for a 29-yard loss, and he just stands up and gets in the huddle. So I know that there's one thing I'd kind of like to see go away. It seems to happen a lot in basketball. If a team is eliminated from the playoffs, some player from the winning team will wave with a big Cheshire Cat smile at the opposing student section and run out of the gym. So I know we can't stop everything, but I hope we'll see more manifestations of good sportsmanship going forward.
100%. Couldn't agree with you more. And it's funny you say that. We have a small element of the Texas Way Day that we're implementing. And we got this from when I had an opportunity to coach in the district. One of the programs I worked with, a head coach, this particular head coach, very humble gentleman, and he was always about his business. I've known him since I was a kid. We went to high school together at Willow Ridge. We grew up together. He went on to have a successful career in the NFL, Coach Alan Aldridge. And Coach Aldridge, when I was working on that staff, he would allow the kids during practice to get all of that showboating out of their system so they're not bringing it to the stadium. And he would allow them to get out there and have a little touchdown dance moment or what have you at the practice, because he said, you know what, we're not doing this at the stadium. We're going to act like we've been there when we've had success. And so that's one thing that we're actually going to do at the Texas Way Day. We're going to allow all the schools to get that out of their system, all the showboating before the season kicks off. And we'll do like a little touchdown dance celebration. And we believe that will be your last time seeing anybody dancing in the end zone or showboating at any of our stadiums, because we do want to drive that message home that it is important to do things with a sense of class and have character when you have that success and have that respect for others, because ultimately we believe that is directly in line with the Texas way.
That is very refreshing, and major props to Coach Aldridge. So I'll talk to him about that the next time I see him. And speaking of refreshing, if you're on your way to Mercer Stadium right now, if you're listening to this live, be sure you hydrate before you get here, and hydrate while you're here as well. It is, well, the Texas way is very hot in August, and we love it anyway, don't we?
Yeah, we're just excited to get everyone here at the stadium and getting things kicked off with our fall sports. And ultimately, we'll have some spring sports represented here at the event. And just excited to have the community be able to come out and support not only student athletes, but also fine arts, because they play a huge role in that fan experience that we are able to put forth every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
Thank you, Shannon Rideout. Appreciate it. And just like any game, we don't know exactly what's going to happen here tonight, but we'll bring it to you. We'll describe it just as we always do on VypeFortBend.com.
All right, here we go with Hightower taking the field next, DJ Bray. Let's go, Hurricanes.
We're the volleyball school with 3 locations: Katy, the Woodlands, and the newest in Richmond on West Belfort. We have the best developmental volleyball program in Fort Bend. We have the high-level training you need to help you get on the top club and school teams and have fun while doing it. The Richmond facility is at 18120 West Belfort. Visit thevolleyballschool.com and come train with us.
First Iron Auto welcomes you back to school. Kids got their new shoes and backpacks. Make sure your auto is geared up for those trips in the carpool lane and games. First Iron Automotive prioritizes their customers and employees above all else. Their core values: family, integrity, reliability, service, and trust. Wherever your journey leads, reliable auto care is essential. Great savings on oil changes and brake service, too. Check out the website, firstironauto.com, for details and to book your appointment today. First Iron Automotive, supporting school and youth sports programs for over 26 years. Get to one of First Iron Automotive's 4 convenient locations in Sugar Land and Cinco Ranch. firstironauto.com.
All right, we are back at the community pep rally known as the Texas Way Day, and it's time to visit with Katie White. She's the cheer coach at Clements. And Katie, I'm wondering, there's something that I've done with your group prior to games. During the countdown to kickoff show, we've done the trash talking cheerleader segment.
Oh no.
Why don't we just keep it our secret? We'll keep doing that because we don't want the Texas Way Day to keep us from doing that.
I won't tell if you don't tell.
All right, so tell me what it's like, things that you have to tell your girls, especially considering the way the weather has been. They have to keep doing what they do, and they got to smile. You know, if they're not smiling, you just can't allow that. No cheer coach can let the girls go out there and make the moves with a roll of the eyes and a not happy expression. What are some of your techniques to make sure they can stay happy and looking happy?
Yeah, so, you know, fortunately, we have great kids. I think every school has really fantastic cheerleaders who are just happy to be out there, which is wonderful. But it has been hard with the heat. I mean, they're being, like, destroyed by this heat. So we've really been focusing on, like, positive mat talk and making sure that they're hyping their friends up and keeping each other honest for being happy. And we talk a lot about what the purpose of a cheerleader is, and that their job is to hype up the crowd and to be entertaining. And if they're not doing that, then our team's not getting the support that they need. So it's really just kind of bringing it back to, like, the why are we out here in the heat being miserable.
Right, because we love it.
Yes, and we do. We love it. We really do love it. We're so excited to get, like, football season really going.
Well, let me ask you this. Before the first football game, you have a lot of different routines to get down, things to practice doing together. Is whether you practice outside or inside, is that optional every day, or do you strive to do it outside whenever you can?
So it really depends on the team. Our team in particular actually is our own competitive team. Like, we compete in our own competition season. So most of our practices are inside because we're doing a lot more skill work to prepare for our competition season. And then we'll go outside approximately once a week to try and stay acclimated to the weather. But like Rich Point, I know they practice outside every single day. So it really just depends on the team and, like, the space that you have and whether or not there's indoor space available. Right now, everybody's inside. Even football's been begging for space inside the building. So.
Okay. Right now, I want to just kind of do an aside here. I see the Clements kids are out there on the field. They're doing this thing where you get your celebrating out of the way now so that during the game you don't showboat and dance in the end zone after a touchdown. How would you grade their performance?
I think they did great, honestly. I think that's like a solid 9 out of 10. I mean, could we have been a little more together? Maybe, but I really think that they tried hard, and I thought it was creative. They went bowling.
Yes, they did, and everybody got up after they had been knocked down.
That was great. 10 out of 10. We love.
But let's look at it this way. If every school gets a judge, then we got to throw out the highest score and the lowest score. So whatever you said about Clements, you know,
I might be a little biased.
Might be a little biased, yeah. They might have to throw that score out, but that is quite okay. All right, so now we're looking at the George Bush Broncos team, and they all fell down. I don't think it was bowling. I think it was more of a made to look like an explosive.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That seems to have been a theme because Kempner also had an explosive.
Okay.
So,
I missed that part. I was talking to Mr. Rideout.
I was impressed with Kempner's.
Well, are there any trends in cheerleading, in the UIL type of competitive cheerleading, things that squads didn't do before that now they're doing?
Tons. So the UIL competition that we have for cheerleading is a game day competition. So it's supposed to be things that you do on the sideline, which means Texas cheerleading sideline has gotten, like, way elevated. People are doing things on the sideline they never would have tried before because they're preparing it for competition, which has been really fantastic. So you're seeing harder skills and bigger cheers and a lot more energy. I think it's been really a wonderful change for us.
Well, I'll tell you what, every year I know that there are quite a few people that stay in their position. I get to interact with them and talk to them prior to games and stuff like that. So I'm really glad you're sticking around, and I hope you don't go anywhere for a while. I know you love what you do.
I do.
But, if you ever decide to go somewhere else, just don't tell me, Katie White. I don't think I can take it.
I don't see myself leaving Clements anytime soon.
Okay, well, that's wonderful, and I'm looking forward to a great basketball season for the Rangers boys.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why you and your cheer squad can't be in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio prior to spring break for the state semifinals and final.
That's what we're hoping for. We're really excited.
By the way, Willow Ridge is taking the field, and we're going to do our very best to talk to their head coach, Kendron Penson, who has just sent his group out onto the field, and I'll be back with an amateurish review of their act when we come back. Thank you, Katie White, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, our VypeFortBend.com coverage continues. It's the Texas Way Day. It's a great celebration at Mercer Stadium. It's even getting cooler out here. This is turning into a really great night. We'll be right back.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi, my daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through September 21st, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 2 years when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data. And get Peacock Premium, a $7.99 a month value included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Gig Wi-Fi requires Xfinity Gateway. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
First Iron Auto welcomes you back to school. Kids got their new shoes and backpacks. Make sure your auto is geared up for those trips in the carpool lane and games. First Iron Automotive prioritizes their customers and employees above all else. Their core values: family, integrity, reliability, service, and trust. Wherever your journey leads, reliable auto care is essential. Great savings on oil changes and brake service, too. Check out the website, firstironauto.com, for details and to book your appointment today. First Iron Automotive, supporting school and youth sports programs for over 26 years. Get to one of First Iron Automotive's 4 convenient locations in Sugar Land and Cinco Ranch. firstironauto.com.
We're the volleyball school with 3 locations: Katy, the Woodlands, and the newest in Richmond on West Belfort. We have the best developmental volleyball program in Fort Bend. We have the high-level training you need to help you get on the top club and school teams and have fun while doing it. The Richmond facility is at 18120 West Belfort. Visit thevolleyballschool.com and come train with us.
On VypeFortBend.com, we have Tuesday night volleyball every single week during the football/volleyball season. We've already had 3 volleyball matches. We got another one coming up later this week on Friday as Travis hosts Fulshire. And then we call that Tuesday night volleyball on a Friday. And then next Tuesday, we will have Fulshire hosting the Ridge Point Panthers. So we will have done 5 volleyball match broadcasts before we even do 1 football broadcast. And we'll start off our coverage on Thursday, August the 29th, with Clear Falls taking on Hightower. Then on Friday night, we have the game between Clements and Crawford. Crawford playing a football game, a varsity game in the spotlight the first time. That'll be our Friday night broadcast. And then on Saturday, it's the Willow Ridge Eagles making their season debut against Lamar Consolidated. Time to visit with their head coach, Kendron Penson. And Coach Penson, you had to choreograph some things out there, didn't you? And that's you're a football coach. You're not used to choreography.
Well, yes, sir. We always try to put things together as a coach. You know, you always are giving things on the spot, and we try to do the best we can. And, hey, we came out victorious again.
I was kind of wondering how difficult it would be for football coaches to get their boys to come out here, because not that other athletes' workouts are not extremely hard, but it's kind of the season for cross country, volleyball, and football. Everybody else is kind of in the off season. They get to stay inside. How many football guys did you have out there in your group of performers?
We have about 7 guys from football. You know, we tell them about the class and character that we have, and we want to represent and show the Fort Bend way and the Texans way as well. And it all came together, and so we had a great time.
Nobody got hurt falling down, right?
No, sir. We were well stretched and we're ready to go.
Okay, let me ask you back during your playing career. And by the way, hold the microphone a little bit closer. Not like Mick Jagger, but a little bit closer. So Kendron Penson of Willow Ridge is our guest, and I wanted to know, during your playing career, either high school or college, did you have a coach who either said to you or to one of your teammates something that said, basically, calm down, act like you've been in the end zone before, anything like that in your history?
Oh, yes, sir. There's a great Coach Henderson. Coach Henderson, he was our track coach and our football coach as well. He would always be on the sidelines and make sure we did the right thing. He always said, act like you've been there before. And we just score, hand the ball to the ref, and we come, we were young, and we come with our team, and we would do what we needed to do. But we always act like we was there before with professionalism, class, and character, like we always have.
Right. So you have coached your son KJ. He was your quarterback, and did you ever have to tell him to tone it down, or did he already know because he's your son?
He already knew because he's my son. He already knew. But I have a nephew that played tight end, and last year he caught his first touchdown, and he did everything in the book.
Wow.
But he's coming. He's a senior this year. He's going to UTEP. He's out there right down the hallway right now. But he knows the class and character. He knows the Texan way right now. It took him one time to remember, and so now he knows how to act.
All right. Well, Coach, a few weeks ago I sent you the schedule of games that we plan to do involving your team, and because of the UIL alignment moving you down to Class 4A, it's not as easy as it used to be to make sure we got to some Willow Ridge games, but I think we managed to keep the proper quota anyway. So
yes, sir.
I believe you have a game against, when you take on
Lamar Consolidated on the 31st.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's the first one.
Uh-huh.
And to tell you the truth, I scheduled so many games. Friendswood, okay.
Right. Then we have Terry, the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a lot of games, man. 4A is it's going to be very good to us. We had some ups and downs in 5A. With the amount of kids that we had, and we got a little down. But now we can see the end of the tunnel. We're playing pretty good ball right now, and 4A looks promising to us.
I believe it's going to be a great opportunity for your team.
Yes, sir. Everybody doesn't know that Willow Ridge won their championship in 4A.
Yes, I happen to remember that.
Yes, sir.
I was a college student in Abilene at the time.
Okay,
but I took note of it.
Yes, sir.
And I followed Thurman Thomas his whole career.
Yes, sir.
All right, Kendron Penson, thanks for being with us, and
Thank
best
you so
of luck.
much.
We will see you on the 31st of August at Hall Stadium.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Roger Smith and Patrick Kinnick. We will take another break and be back to wrap it up. No, we will not be back to wrap it up. We will be right here to talk to Bobby Darnell after a quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi, my daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through September 21st, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 2 years when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data. And get Peacock Premium, a $7.99 a month value included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Gig Wi-Fi requires Xfinity Gateway. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
All right, we are back at Mercer Stadium, and this community pep rally known as the Texas Way Day was short and sweet. But Bobby Darnell is still here. He's a very smart man. He's just going to stand here and let the other people beat themselves to death trying to get out of the parking lot. It'll be a lot easier if you wait about 10 minutes. Right,
10
Coach?
minutes, and the key is to always park on the far side. Like, that's an unknown secret, and I hate that I just divulged that, but I should be good where I parked.
All right, so where he's pointing, I guess, is the southwest corner of this entire complex?
Not at all. I'm not going to confirm or deny where my favorite parking spots are.
Okay.
To help avoid traffic.
Well, let me ask you this, if you happen to know. Is the elevator behind the press box working yet? Will we be able to use it this year? It's such a big help when we can.
I will have to find out for you next week. We have been able to utilize Mercer as a practice facility for us in the morning, so I'll have to take a look and see.
All right, so your first game is against the brand new Crawford Chargers. They don't even have a senior class yet, and you're going to take them on in our Friday night broadcasted game at Hall Stadium. And so you said that you are kind of scrimmaging when they're scrimmaging. You may not get a very good look at them, so how do you prepare when they're brand new and you don't get to watch them and see how they line up?
You know, we'll take a look at the film from tomorrow night, and we'll just kind of evaluate that. We do have our sub-varsity games from last year, so I mean, personnel-wise, we'll be able to confirm some of the things that we'll see tomorrow night. But other than that, it's, you know, who are their playmakers? Who do we have to stop? I mean, they're going to be very talented. As you know, it's just a very talent-rich area. And obviously a lot of things that are new over there probably are attracting even more attention. So I fully anticipate seeing a star-studded cast, despite being juniors, sophomores, and I'm sure probably even some freshmen.
Yeah, there'll be that football team from Arcola. And I never thought I'd be saying that when I moved to this community over 20 years ago. Do you know Coach David Jackson, any of his tendencies? Do you have a friendship or not know each other at all?
No, of course, we've known each other. He's been at Dulles for quite some time. He's a Fort Bend product as well. So him coming over there, I think they maybe made a change at defensive coordinator and whatnot. But so, I mean, I think they're going to do what he believes that he wants to, you know, instill in the Charger program and in the Charger way. So I'm excited for him. You know, we're all brothers in the profession, except for one night a year.
Yeah, I love the way that coaching, I like to watch coaches interact because it's so fraternal, and yet when it's game time, so competitive.
Absolutely, and emotional. And so it's funny to see, you know, somebody who might have a little bit more experience and how they handle the emotions, and then those that may not be able to. But that's kind of what today is about. The Texas way and trying to be as sportsmanlike as possible, and make sure that we're the examples first and foremost, and then it spreads off to our kids.
And this may sound a little strange to you, but in my experience in life, I've had a chance to observe lawyers, and they're the same way. You can see two lawyers in the courtroom look like they're about to come to blows or gouge eyes or whatever they got to do, and then the judge says, we'll adjourn for lunch. They go out into the lobby and say, okay, where are we going? Tex-Mex. No, we did that yesterday. So it's so fraternal and yet so competitive when the chips are down.
Absolutely. Very similar. We probably won't be going to get a meal or a beverage right after the game, though. There's going to be probably a 48-hour cooling off period. But, again, no, we have a good time. We've got a great room in Fort Bend as far as head coaches and coordinators.
All right. Coach Darnell, it's good to talk to you, and we'll talk to you 1 week from Friday night when you take on the Crawford Chargers at Hall Stadium.
Can't wait to see you there.
All right. It'll be great.
All right. Roger, always appreciate everything that you do for Fort Bend ISD.
As I always say, my pleasure. I love doing this stuff. All right. We'll see you when you take on Crawford. All right. Patrick and I will now wrap it up. So, Patrick, this is a first-of-its-kind event, and it's basically you and I standing here talking to each other, and I think maybe a dozen teenagers running around on the field and people getting into their cars and leaving. But what did you come away with having observed what went on at the Texas Way Day celebration?
Well, it was a nice gathering of competitors and rivalries and so on. I think it's a good way to kind of get the season started off. I think the students out here, the athletes and so on, had a good time with what they were doing, and I think the parents were happy, and coaches were happy too, I think. So there's nothing wrong with getting it started off on a good start with good competition, in mind.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reason for hopes to be high at several Fort Bend County schools, and things are quite a bit different this year, and we can't talk about it now because it's time to wrap it up, but we'll have plenty of chances to talk about this during our game broadcasts about who's moving up in classification, who's moving down, the different district matchups where Fort Bend ISD's Class 6A teams are not going to take on Katy in the first round anymore. They will take on Shadow Creek or Pearland or any number of teams that are a little bit more to the east of us. So it'll be a good thing, I think, not to go against 4 Katy teams in the first round. I think that's been kind of a burden, and Fort Bend teams have rarely been able to win more than one game.
That's a good point, and it gives you kind of just a fresh feeling for getting into the playoffs and not going against Katy. Not that the schools you mentioned, there are no slouts either.
They are not.
So you're going to have to, Pearland has had some real good teams over the years, and you say Shadow Creek, and some of those schools are going to be pretty tough. But like you said, it's a nice fresh start for Fort Bend, and hopefully it'll be a good thing for them.
Yeah, Dawson is tough, and so there is quality over there, but it's not the absolute top to bottom quality that Fort Bend ISD has had to face in round 1 against Katy. All right, that will do it. We want to thank Merle Bertrand for spinning all the dials and monitoring everything there inside the mothership at Vype World headquarters. And we're looking forward to Friday night's volleyball match as Fulshire goes to Travis. Tuesday night of next week, Ridgepoint goes to Fulshire. And then we'll start our football coverage on the 29th, Thursday night, Clear Falls against Hightower from Hall Stadium. So for Patrick Kinnick and everybody who's a part of VypeFortBend.com, good night from Mercer Stadium, and we'll see you at the games.